What hidden forces shaped our cities, empires, and the world we live in today? Capitalism has quietly shaped nations, fueled revolutions, and transformed everyday life. How did one system change the way we work, trade, and dream? Let us find out as we journey through history together. Chapter 1: A Market in the Middle Ages. Close your eyes and step back nearly 1,000 years into the heart of a medieval village. The sun is setting, casting a warm glow across the stone houses. The marketplace is alive with chatter. Farmers arrive with carts filled with wheat and apples. Craftsmen display iron tools and leather shoes. Children chase each other while merchants bargain over prices. Most people in this world lived under feudalism. The local lord owned the land, peasants worked it, and everyone owed loyalty upward in exchange for protection. Wealth was measured in fields, castles, and power, not in coins. Yet something was shifting. In small corners of Europe, people began trading more freely. Coins, once rare, became common. A shoemaker might sell his wares not just to his neighbors, but to passing travelers, earning extra money to reinvest in better tools. This was the faint heartbeat of capitalism, where profit, trade, and risk-taking began to matter as much as tradition. Though small at first, it planted the seed of a system that would eventually transform the globe. Chapter 2: The Rise of Trade and Banking. As centuries passed, towns grew, and with them came larger markets. In the bustling city of Florence, the powerful Medici family built banks that reached across Europe. For the first time, merchants could borrow money to fund voyages, expand businesses, or build ships. If they succeeded, they paid the loan back with interest, and both lender and borrower grew wealthier. New financial tools were invented. A bill of exchange allowed traders to travel without carrying heavy bags of coins, reducing the risk of theft. Insurance contracts helped merchants feel safer, sending cargo across dangerous seas. Cities like Venice, Genoa, and later Amsterdam became buzzing centers of commerce, filled with ships, warehouses, and counting houses. This was capitalism's true awakening, where wealth shifted from being tied to land to being created and multiplied through money, credit, and trade. It marked the rise of a new kind of power, economic power that could rival kings. But how did these innovations quietly reshape the fate of entire nations? Chapter 3: Voyages, Colonies, and Global Networks. In the 15th century, capitalism's ambitions stretched across oceans. Imagine the voyage of Columbus in 1492, or Vasco da Gama's journey around Africa to India. These explorers connected continents once separate. The world grew smaller, and trade routes widened. From these discoveries grew colonies and global networks. Silver from South America poured into Spanish treasuries. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean became profitable enterprises. Spices from the East Indies reached European markets at high prices. New companies were formed to manage ventures. The Dutch East India Company and the British East India Company became giants of early capitalism. Investors could buy shares, spreading risks and rewards. This innovation, what we call the corporation, was revolutionary, but wealth came with a human cost. Enslaved Africans were forced across the Atlantic in terrible conditions to work on plantations. Indigenous peoples were displaced or devastated by disease and conquest. Capitalism's expansion was breathtaking, but it also revealed how profit could overshadow dignity. Chapter 4: The First Industrial Revolution. By the 18th century, capitalism ignited another transformation: the Industrial Revolution. Imagine standing in a factory where the clatter of looms and hiss of steam fill the air. Instead of handmade cloth, machines produced fabric at astonishing speeds. James Watt's improved steam engine powered mills, mines, and locomotives. Railways stretched across Britain and Europe, carrying goods and passengers farther than ever. Coal mines dug deep into the earth to fuel growth, while ironworks forged rails, bridges, and ships. Capitalism thrived in this environment. Investors poured money into factories, seeking greater efficiency and profits. Entrepreneurs, from Richard Arkwright to Andrew Carnegie, became symbols of industrial power. Workers left the countryside, crowding into rapidly growing cities to earn wages. The modern industrial economy had arrived, and with it, a pace of change the world had never seen. Chapter 5: Everyday Life Transformed. For ordinary families, capitalism meant life was no longer tied only to the rhythm of the land. Instead of weaving their own clothes or crafting soap, people could buy goods from shops. Household items, once luxuries, became accessible to many. Railways brought fish, fruit, and newspapers to inland towns. Department stores appeared, offering a variety of products under one roof. But how did these new choices change how people thought about their lives? Advertising shaped desires with posters and catalogues showing consumers what they needed. Yet the transformation was uneven. Industrialists built mansions, while many workers lived in crowded tenements with poor sanitation. Diseases spread quickly, and children often worked long hours to help their families survive. Still, capitalism created new horizons. People dreamed of better wages, education for their children, and the chance to rise higher than their parents. Chapter 6. Innovation, Science, and Progress. Capitalism's drive for profit also fueled scientific discovery. Telegraph wires carried messages in minutes instead of weeks. Thomas Edison's light bulb extended the day into the night. Alexander Graham Bell's telephone connected voices across distances. Later, automobiles and aeroplanes shrank the world even further. In medicine, mass production of vaccines and drugs transformed public health. The discovery of penicillin in the 20th century saved millions of lives. Companies invested in laboratories, knowing that new cures and inventions could bring both profit and progress. Of course, not every invention was created for money alone. Curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge always played their part. But capitalism created an environment where innovators could secure funding, test their ideas, and bring them to millions of people. Chapter 7. Shadows of Inequality. Alongside progress, capitalism's darker side deepened. Workers endured 12-hour days, unsafe conditions, and little protection. The gap between rich and poor widened. In colonies, resources were stripped to feed European industries, often leaving local communities impoverished. Critics like Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels argued that capitalism was built on exploitation, predicting that workers would one day overthrow the system. While revolutions were rare, their ideas inspired labor movements across the world. Gradually, reforms emerged. Workers demanded shorter hours, safer conditions, and fair wages. Governments introduced child labor laws, social security systems, and education reforms. These changes did not end capitalism, but shaped it into a system that included some protections for society. Chapter 8. Capitalism in the 20th century. The 20th century tested capitalism like never before. The Great Depression of the 1930s revealed its vulnerabilities as stock markets collapsed and millions lost jobs. In response, governments stepped in with new regulations and safety nets. After World War II, capitalism fueled astonishing growth. In the United States, the 1950s saw a consumer boom. Families bought cars, televisions, and washing machines. Suburbs expanded, and highways linked cities. In Europe, welfare states combined free markets with public healthcare and education. In Asia, capitalism sparked rapid growth. Japan rebuilt into an industrial powerhouse. South Korea transformed from a poor agrarian nation into a technological leader. China, after decades of strict state control, gradually opened to market reforms, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty. Capitalism had become global, shaping the fate of nations across every continent. Chapter 9. The Digital Revolution and Globalization. Today, capitalism touches every part of our lives. Think of the phone or laptop you are using. It is designed in one country, manufactured in another, and shipped worldwide. Online platforms let us shop, learn, and connect instantly. Billion-dollar companies rise and fall within years, driven by the speed of technology. Globalization has linked economies together, making the world more interdependent than ever. Capitalism has created enormous wealth, but it also poses new challenges. Climate change, environmental damage, and inequality raise urgent questions. Should profit always come first, or should capitalism evolve to prioritize sustainability and fairness? These debates are not new, but they feel more pressing in our digital age. The choices we make now will shape the future of capitalism for generations to come. Chapter 10. Reflection before sleep. As you rest, think of capitalism's long journey. From a coin passed in a medieval market, to the roar of factories, to the glow of a smartphone screen, capitalism has been the river of change shaping our modern world. It has brought progress, wealth, and creativity, but also hardship, inequality, and debate. Its story is not finished. Each generation redefines how capitalism works, adding rules, protections, and innovations. Some see it as humanity's greatest engine of progress. Others warn of its dangers when profit overshadows people and nature. What is certain is that capitalism has changed the world forever. It continues to flow, carrying us into an unknown future. As we close our eyes tonight, we can imagine the centuries past, the inventions still to come, and the possibility that tomorrow will bring new answers to the questions capitalism leaves behind. Thank you for watching this documentary on capitalism's impact. What do you think? Has capitalism shaped our world for better or worse? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more fascinating history stories.